This case involves a ceiling collapse for a woman who is simply trying to cook Easter dinner at her home on Easter Day. Hi, my name is Joseph Donahue and I'm a partner here at Block, O'Toole & Murphy. Our client lived in the Bronx and was home on Sunday, Easter Sunday, cooking dinner for her and her family, when all of a sudden, the entire ceiling of the kitchen collapsed and landed on her. This was obviously a tragic case involving an accident that was completely preventable. Because the night before, our client noticed that a leak was coming from the same kitchen ceiling that collapsed on her the following day. And when she saw the water leaking from the ceiling, she called the building. She called the building to ask them to come investigate what was happening. The building responded. The superintendent came to her apartment that evening and he saw the leak coming from the ceiling and he told her he would figure out what was going on. He went to the apartment above and when he came back down, he told our client that he had found out the cause of the leak and he had stopped it. But what he didn't do, what he failed to do, was take the necessary steps to ensure the safety of our client. He failed to look at the ceiling where the leak had been coming down into. He didn't open the ceiling. He didn't inspect the ceiling. He took no steps whatsoever to ensure that that waterlogged ceiling was safe. Tragedy occurred the following day. The following day, Easter Sunday in the afternoon, while our client was cooking dinner for her and her family, the ceiling collapsed and landed on her. What we learned through our investigation was that a simple inspection of the ceiling by the super of the building would have revealed that the water-soaked plaster ceiling was at risk for collapsing. He didn't do that, and the result was tragic for our client. She went to the emergency room, she complained of neck pain and back pain, and she began to treat with various treaters after that day. During the course of our case, she required multiple surgeries to her neck, a total of 5 surgeries, all surgeries caused by injuries she sustained when the ceiling landed on her head, her neck, and her back. Prior to this accident, she was working. She was a home attendant and took care of people who needed her help. But because of her injuries, she was no longer able to do that work. She was no longer able to fulfill the physical requirements that the job required. She had to stop working. She had to stop doing what she loved to do, the thing that brought her not only joy, but security to her family, what allowed her to provide food, clothing, and shelter. The defendants in this case acknowledged that they had been to the apartment the night before, but they argued that an inspection of the ceiling would not have revealed the condition it was in and would not have revealed that the ceiling was about to collapse. They argued that there's no way they could possibly have known that the ceiling was at risk of falling, and for that reason, they had no responsibility for the happening of the accident. But we were able to use our experts. We were able to use an expert that was trained, an engineer, who said there would have been no doubt that given the size of the section that fell and the amount of water that was coming down into the ceiling, that anyone would not have known that the ceiling was at risk for collapse. This was a case that was ready to proceed to trial, and we were well prepared to go to trial on the case. But on the day that we were in court, ready, willing, and able to select a jury to bring our client justice, the defendant finally relented. The defendant realized that the accident was their responsibility, and they realized the risk of going to trial was just too great. And for that reason, they made an offer of settlement of $5,850,000, which we secured for our client by being ready and willing and able to go to trial. That settlement secured our client's financial future. It secured her ability to make sure that she could obtain the ongoing medical care that she required, and it could give her some measure of justice for the pain and suffering that she had endured up until that time and that she would endure for the remainder of her life. As a tenant, you may feel that you have no rights. You may feel that any complaint that you give to your landlord is just going to be ignored. That may be the case, but you should make those complaints anyway to ensure that you are provided with a safe place to live. And in the unfortunate event that your landlord doesn't take those complaints seriously and that results in an accident, you also continue to have rights. It's essential that if you are the victim of an accident due to the negligence of a landlord, that you contact an attorney to make sure they protect your rights, to make sure that you are fully compensated for any damages that you incur, whether they be physical or otherwise. Here at Block, O'Toole & Murphy, we have the experience of representing tenants who have been injured as a result of the negligence of landlords.